Okay folks, what I'm going to do is just quickly show you how to build a desk organizer in this sort of fashion. What I'm going to start with is just by drawing out a square on the blue plane, which is going to be 600 by 600. I'm typing this in. Then what I'm going to use is underneath the push-pull tool is the offset. I'm going to set that to 50. It's going to give me a nice frame of 50. I'm going to use the pencil tool, and what I'm going to do from each corner, I'm going to draw across red lines and green lines to create squares on my frame. You can do this from the corner, you can do this in reference to the corner. What I'm then going to do is rub out all the long lines and end up with 4 symmetrical squares. These are now going to become my feet. I'm going to just push pull these up individually, so 50, and I'm going to use what I call the magnetic fishing line and basically push pull each one in reference to the other up 50. Okay, I'm going to take all of those and make them a component. This makes them a lot easier to deal with later. So that's now one component, and anything I build on top of that will not integrate with that. It won't interact. So when I push pull this up another 60, that is now a separate component. What I'm going to do is I'm also going to make this a component. 1, 2, 3. You just go to the middle line. 1, 2. Well, that's, I think, enough. Yeah, it all needs to be highlighted blue, and that means the object is fully selected. That's going to be my next component. That way I can separate out the base from the legs later on. I'm going to draw a new square on top of that, and then I'm going to push pull this up 600. Great. And then what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to split that in two by drawing a construction line down the middle. See the midpoint coming up in blue. I'm going to split that again and again, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the 2-point arc. I'm going to find that midpoint, and it's not going beyond, staying nicely within, so that's the reason why I drew that second line, that quarter line. Here we go again. Let's draw that up to there. There we go, lovely. Rub away the inner lines. But what I'm going to do actually this time, what I didn't do before, no, I think actually I will just rub away those lines, don't need them anymore. I'm going to leave the center line in, it's handy. I don't actually know if I can get away with that. No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the offset to 50 to make a lovely sort of arch within. And then basically I'm going to draw a line within. Remember was 482, and I'm going to start measuring up from the bottom edge 100 each time, and that will kind of create a that was 100, and draw a line on the red. I'm going to go up 20, and although that line has disappeared, it's still there. There we go. Comes up as an end point. 100. Oh, hang on. Come up there, and you'll just, what will happen is you'll snap to it. You should do, let's draw that again. It doesn't matter how many times you draw it. 100. Oh, it's there, yeah, great. Great. Now that needs to be, remember that needs to go red. Goes up 20. There we go. Another 100. And I'm happy to leave the rest We go up 20 more. There we go, lovely. Nice. Right, what I'm going to do is just rub away these lines that are sticking out. There you go. And also I'm going to rub away the lines where they intersect. And I'm going to rub away this line, this line, this line, this line as well. And very often I do this on SketchUp. Very often what I do is I draw out half of it, and then what I do is I do the other half of it. This is great actually, it's just going right to the edge. I'm pressing escape from the tool each time. You get into a bit of a rhythm with this. Well, probably not, because it's what I'm doing is I'm drawing straight lines to curved ends, sort of tangential connection going on. The line needs to go red. Okay, so let's see if this works when I rub out those interspaces. Looks fine to me. I'm going to now use the push-pull. So this is the second last part of this. Push-pull. There you are. Getting quite fast at this now. I've done this now a few times. You speed up. You do speed up. I'm going to just measure along 50, and that becomes a little kind of marker for me to push-pull back to when it comes to the shells. Okay. There's an issue here. This isn't fully joined. I join it fully here. Okay, I'm going to just do the bottom shells for now. There's my end point. There you go. And that way I know that I'm not pushing the drawer out the back, which is very easy to do. For example, okay. Okay. Right, obviously I drew this a little bit too quickly perhaps. There we go. I think what happened is maybe one of those lines didn't go perfectly red when I drew them in the first place. Let's just rub that out. In fact, I'm just going to rub the entire line out and go across. I think that's where my error was. Okay, is that showing? Undo. Let's try selecting that. Yeah, good. It's now separate, so I can pull that back. I think I've done the same at the bottom. Push-pull. Yep. And let's just check the lines on this. I think what I'll do is I'll just rub out those lines. There must have been some issue with the symmetry. And if you go from one point to another point, it's going to close it should close the contour, so it becomes a shape in its own right, and then basically you can manipulate it separately from the other face. Yep, brilliant. Okay. All right, that's done basically. One of these I've actually gone. Looks like it's a slightly different depth, or maybe it's just SketchUp playing up. Just going to use the paint bucket tool. I've already got colour selected, and what I want to do is I want to select woods. This is quite nice wood. Do that. And because these other things are separate components, when I colour them, they colour all instantaneously at the same time. You could use a different colour for the inside. I just think it's nice when you have something on the inside like colour, because it just makes it look warmer somehow. Although in real life, to paint the inside, you'd have to, consider if you were going to make this, that you'd have to paint the inside first before you attempt to put it all together, because otherwise you'd have a real pain. And also, painting underneath shells is no fun. Right, okay, that's done. Last thing I'm going to do is put some measurements on there. You can pull those out. if you were trying to do a measurement from a, from a peak to a flat part, it's always best to just draw a line temporarily. I'll have to kind of go about deleting all of that, like afterwards. I'll show you how to do that, and that way you can draw a line out this way for the entire height. And I'll have to just rub away that line again. Oh, it's going to ask me to push-pull this all the way again. So it might be a good idea just put your measurements in before you do any work on it. Let's just see if I can get away with doing it this way. I'll just delete that away. Yeah. Because what happened is I kind of made a transparent wall. That's fine. So I just used the backspace key. So you should put measurements on all of the different sort of aspects, lengths, heights and stuff like that. And that's how you draw very quickly a sort of a, this would be a flexi-ply covered with veneer, sort of shelving unit for storage. Hope that's helped. Bye.